now we have best narrative.
I just read the joke that I put on this again, and I think I'm really funny.
We'll find out pretty quick. Best narrative is another kind of combination category where it's like best writing, best story, best
Storytelling,
telling, all that kind of stuff. Is all
how
wrapped
the
up
game
in.
deals with its story.
So we have Observation, Outer Wilds, Control, Journey of the Clue, Disco Elysium, and Kingdom Hearts 3. Is that your big joke?
Right, let me tell you about Kingdom Hearts, right?
I feel like we've had a 2.5 hour conversation.
It begins with Kai back cover. There are the foretellers, and they... that is entirely a joke.
Good.
Kingdom Hearts tells its story terribly, and then it tells it in the first 45 minutes, and then the last 6 hours of a 36-hour game.
But you could say that about, like, all of the Kingdom Hearts
pretty much,
franchise,
but
it's like, hey, by the way, this AAA console game makes no sense unless you've played this mobile game, half of which didn't exist in English.
If you've watched this movie, played these mobile games, it's terrible. Like it tells it's a fucking weird ass crazy story that I really appreciate, but man, it's shit at telling it.
You know the most disappointing? You want to add Kingdom Hearts the most disappointing? The fact that they ended that game in a way that I'm super excited for Kingdom Hearts 4.
It's got you, right?
And I'm like, fuck.
And that secret ending where it might be in The World Ends With You. Yeah, that's the...
God damn it.
I knew that would get you.
God damn it. I like how you say
you get to come back for the Keyblade wielders versus the foretellers in Kingdom Hearts 4 in 2026.
I'll come back and play like the accompanying board game and 7 graphic novels.
You've got to play Remind first. That's
Remind.
Yeah.
The 40 quid deal. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's go to the actual ones.
Best narrative. Observation is not going to win this, but it's a cool story.
It seemed like a cool way of telling a story.
It was a cool way. Not only was it a cool way of telling a story, like the story it's telling was actually pretty good. Like it is like complete like race for survival for this person, and like gradually unraveling of like why you're here, why you're still here, what happened, all this kind of stuff. Where basically like it resolves to be like you're here because they couldn't. Well, no, sorry, that's a different. Anyway, they do the whole thing, and then you find out who's on whose side.
Yeah.
The reason why it's not going to win this is it completely. One of my most annoying things about games is that there is a line between an ambiguous ending and an ending that has no ending.
Okay.
Where it does a bunch of stuff at the end.
Right.
Which is like, and this explains everything. And as a human being, you go, no, what you've done there is explain nothing and let other people figure it out.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, because there's no answer there. Like, it's just, you threw a bunch of really cool looking shit at me that kind of half describes some of the stuff you've been seeing, but also like, no, tell me the core 2 things you needed to tell me, as opposed to going, I don't know, you figure it out. But I did like how Observation did its thing about like how it used you as an AI theoretically without like human interaction and all this kind of stuff. That was cool. Outer Wilds is an interesting one, right? Because it's a narrative that you destroy my couch to get. You get entirely on your own and entirely non-linearly.
It's based on, like on discovery. Like
it's entirely on discovery, right? So like the only thing you have is like Timberhurst, the planet you live on.
Yeah.
Like they have a museum for this other race called the Nomai, who are like some precursor race and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, that's all we've got. Like here's a statue, and all these people went exploring. Go, and then you learn like here's the Nomai where there are named characters in there. You follow through not audio logs, but like written logs and all this kind of stuff, and like what they're trying to do and how you're trying to do it.
The stuff about the like who the Nomai were and like their mastery of quantum mechanics and like what they were actually trying to do is really interesting. And also, it's a super cool story.
In between all of this, like in each of the stations as you're pulling stuff, there's like a love story happening between some of the characters and all this kind of stuff. But it's the fact that like the story itself is entirely non-linear and is like they just put all the pieces in front of you and go, you've like the opposite of what Observation does, which is like it's all there.
Yeah.
Like just you put it all together. It's just a really cool way of telling a story. Like, to be honest, like for me, the story part of it wasn't the thing. It was like how do we stop this catastrophic thing from happening?
Yeah.
Like that was the thing pushing me forward, as opposed to like all this story.
Yeah.
But there's a moment where like having gone through all this lore and watching all these people from ages ago and all this stuff, like the one time you meet a live Nomai, you're like, oh shit, okay, right.
Is it not at a certain point that the story eventually gets inverted on its head, because you're like, you start that game going, we need to stop this 22-minute supernova or whatever, and then you learn what the 22-minute supernova is, and you're like, oh no, we need to keep doing this and figure out what you're getting to.
Well, kind of, yes, kind of. There's a thing which is like, you have to do something. You have to stop the loop, but you have to fix a bunch of stuff in order to stop the loop. It's a really weird thing in that game. We've done best moment, but like the ending of that game, or the final section, the final stretch of that game, is you eventually start to put all the pieces together, and basically the thing you figure out is 22-minute loop is being generated by this thing on this planet.
Yeah,
you need to. It's powered by that's a cat with a paw on the thing. It's fine. The thing that's powering that, the power source for this thing that's generating the loop, you need to get that from here to here, plant it in this vessel.
Oh yeah, this is, you're taking like the
warp core
to the eye or whatever.
Yeah, to get to the eye of the universe and fix all of this theoretically. I think, if I'm following it right.
Yeah.
But the way you do that is you have to do that in one loop, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you yank the power, that's the loop done. Where if the supernova explodes, like done, like over, like game overs and bunts you back to the main menu. So you have to do it in one loop. And I'll also say, like, from the moment you grab the power core and shut the loop down, you have to travel to the other planet to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
The music just fucking goes into overdrive, and it's like, it's the same thing, but it's like, there's like electronic stuff under it. It's like powering up. It's like, you better fucking know what you're doing. Yeah. And getting all over to this other stuff. But like, I'm still not 100% clear what's going to happen when I do this. I just know I need to do it.
Right, sure. I forget you've not finished it. Okay.
Yeah, like so the whole point is now I know what I need to do in this 22-minute loop.
You just have to
execute it now. Yeah. And that final section with the fucking anglerfish is killing me every single time I try it. Anyway, so it's there more for how it's telling the story as opposed to the story itself. Like, the story itself is relatively straightforward, or not straightforward. It's like precursor race technology you don't understand. Yeah. Oh shit, they broke everything. That kind of same idea. Control is interesting because the story itself is not.
The story itself is really basic.
Yeah.
It is like, girl goes to place to find brother.
Yeah.
Finds
brother.
And that's kind of it.
Brother has special powers.
Yeah.
But the interesting part for me in the narrative was like finding like the story of the town.
So yeah, the interesting narrative that's in Control is like, the story of, oh fuck, what's the name of the town? She's from Somewhere, or not?
It's called Somewhere, I think.
I think it's Somewhere. No, or it's like it's like a word that it means, it's weird, but the cool narratives in that game are the story of that town and what happened there, the disaster at whatever Somewhere.
Yeah.
The story of the facility itself. Ordinary, that's the one. The story of the facility itself, like the oldest house, and like the Bureau of Control finding it, implanting it, and like still like they've this is their center of operations and they still don't quite understand it all. And then the other one is just the Bureau itself. Like all the cool writing that happens of like some of my favorite stuff in that game is like the weird internal politics memos that you find.
Hey, this thing is like Warehouse 13, X-Files, like we handle weird shit all the time, but stop taking my fucking coffee mug.
Yeah, like stop taking my coffee mug. Hey, remember to fucking fix the printer ink.
Yeah.
Like, do all this stuff.
It's Jenny's birthday.
It's this part. Yeah, it's all these like really middling stuff, and it's like everybody just has to deal with the same shit.
Yeah.
But the some of my favorite stuff in that game is the guy that I ended up coming at that game thinking the most of, and I still can't remember his name to the life of me, which is a shame, is the doctor guy. Casper Darling.
Yeah.
Who, every time there's a screen in that game, he is showing you either some new object to power or explaining something to you, and that actor absolutely kills it.
He is
every
incredible.
Time he is so good at just playing this guy who, like, you can very clearly tell by like the tone of his voice and the writing is like he's excited by this thing.
Oh yeah.
But is still completely baffled and is like, yeah, like this thing does this and we know it does this, but we don't know why, and it scares us. And then you start talking to like the board and stuff like that, and everybody is just like, we've got no idea what the board is. We know it's got something to do with the inverted pyramid and the astral plane, but like we got no idea. But it seems to be helping us, so it's working.
Oh right, of course he is Alan Wake as well.
Oh, is he? Okay, that makes sense.
I knew
okay, that would make sense as to why he's as good as he is.
But yeah, like there's like
it's the little stories within
it's
Control,
the little bits of all the different things, and like just watching like how ready this group is to just be like, we don't understand this tech, but we're gonna use the shit out of it and like really work.
I like the watching the breakdown of the thing where it's the Hedron things that you wear.
Yep.
And watching this guy being like, we know this helps, so everybody needs to wear them.
Yeah.
Don't ask, just wear the thing.
Put the vest on.
Just put the vest on. And it's
the really exciting thing I thought about Control coming out of it, as well as like all of the bits we've talked about, was like they've built up enough of a world now where they can do anything with it.
Yeah,
like
totally,
they could wrap this, they could turn this into like a 13-episode TV series if they wanted.
Yeah, I would watch that. That'd be cool.
And they can continue to like put out story content as they're doing,
right?
Like
they can tie this into like all of their Remedy have spent forever doing weird games that either hit or miss or whatever. They now have the central thing that could tie all these weird shit, and they brought Alan Wake in. Like Alan Wake is in the Control universe, so they could bring in Alan Wake and do a whole thing with that. And
the Remedyverse has come.
The Remedy expanded universe.
Yeah. Now we just need to figure out how Quantum Break fits in, which I think it does in some way.
Probably does. I don't know.
But yeah, I thought that was. Yeah.
It's a cool little. The main story that it tells isn't spectacular or anything like that.
No, but it's all the other stuff.
It tells a bunch of little stuff in really cool ways. And
it's a vehicle for the other stuff.
It's a vehicle for all the other stuff. Oh god, what's it called? The kids show.
Oh,
the something kids.
Tremor kids. Tremor.
Oh, I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that kids show. It's the exact sort of kids show where it was like you would find some sort of weird VHS at a car boot sale.
Totally.
You'd be like, what the fuck?
What the hell is this?
This is fucked.
Or you
up.
Look at it and go, the 40s were weird.
Yeah,
like
where it's like the puppets are all fucked up and they're just telling the story about the Bureau of Control and stuff like that. And then that fucking Mr. Bones character,
right?
Who this girl is discovering her psychic powers and he's just screaming at her, and it's so bizarre. There's so many cool little things.
The thing I really enjoyed about Control as well is that like it's in such a nondescript time where like obviously Jesse like is coming in from the outside in 2019, judged purely by like clothing and modern, references, but like inside the office, like
the 50s,
these people don't go home,
no,
because they have nowhere. Like they're so enveloped in this building, that you're like, they have no, like it's Vegas. There are no clocks in there.
No,
you have no idea.
Well, even if there were clocks, time doesn't mean anything in that place.
And you're like. So like this has looked the same since like the 60s, 50s
or 50s or something,
where like all of the uniforms and stuff like that are like of that era, and then you go back and look at like what, like it makes no sense that all of Casper Darling's like instructional videos are on film. Like why would that be a thing? But like mixed with all this other technology they have, like they've isolated themselves in this, they've locked themselves in this one bit of time that's just incredible. And
I've just remembered the storytelling of the fact that the old director is like talking to you, and every time he shows up it's like the weird shadows in the world, stuff that's amazing.
The video overlay stuff in that game,
super cool.
Is
it tells a lot of really cool stuff.
Jenny Clue again, this is that dual narrative thing of like
that was really interesting,
and Jenny stuff, and like Jenny's story, and again like the moment we talked about earlier, where like after she comes across the murder and her mum gets arrested and all this kind of stuff, and she has that like mental like moment of like trying to cope with everything. That was the moment where it was like, oh, you're doing weird shit with this, okay, right, fine, I'm on board. And it just goes on, and it's this really good story of like she's still just like a girl with friends and has all these things to deal with, on top of there being like the story in that game gets fucking weird. Like, there are and the only downside to it is that game is not a full game. Like it wraps up like part of the story, like the initial get your mom out of prison, what the fuck happened with the murder bit, but there's all of this other like, what the hell are these underground underground like machines that are there that you keep coming across, and like what actually happened to your dad, and all these other layers that you come across that are there. It's also like it's super well told. Like all the dialogue is very funny. Like again, it's a very charming game. It's got this like kind of Night in the Woods-esque vibe where like everyone reacts in exactly the right way that they should, to be like, don't be so fucking stupid. Like there's no like, it's not like an after school special. It's like, no, like these people are like, the fuck are you doing? Like, and it like the conspiracy theorist is always fun. He was funny. I liked him a lot. But yeah, they go some places with that story that you don't expect. And they double down on the detective part of it as well in really interesting ways. And it's I did like the thing of you got all your evidence, you had to like link everything together to be able to get a... And even like observing someone and being like, oh, they've got a thing on their cuff which means they ate this and all that. I just, that was just like a photo hunt game. Like that didn't, it was just like pick bits out of a... Oh, yeah, kind of, but like the fact that it was backed up with like, why is this good evidence? Yeah, like, that I can understand that. That's true. Yeah, I really like the story they told in that game. Absolutely. Disco Elysium is just all story. That's all story. That's what that thing is. It has multiple stories that it tells in different ways. Even the main story itself is a really good... It's a game that opens with, it's like, here's a murder mystery, and it ends with the murder being related to, this is why political insulism is a bad idea. Right. This is why having one political idea and not accepting anything else is terrible for everybody. Okay. And it relates, all the stories it tells always relate back to something about that world in Revachol, where it's like, either it's about the political climate of like this communist collapse that's been taken over by rampant capitalism that has been like kind of totalitarian capitalism that is weird, or it's about workers' rights, or it's just about like the horrors of like what happened in the war, because you learn all these war stories from different veterans and stuff like that. And that's all that game is, like, quote unquote mechanically, is just storytelling. That's all it is. But that game would not succeed in every other category that it has if it didn't have the quality of writing that it does. Totally. And not just the quality of writing, because there's like, the writing is fantastic. Like it's expressive, it's flavorful, it is like, it gives you everything that you need. But it's also like, the writers have like a very deft hand over what they're trying to do in terms of like tone and world, where it can bounce between being like a super serious thing about like drug overdoses or sexual abuse or some really like horrifying topic, but it knows exactly how to play it and then throw in like a little bit of humor, but not like haha funny humor. It's like dark kind of totally like cutting, because the characters themselves need that little bit of relief, it feels like. And it's usually a lot of the dark humor usually comes from your own head, about how the different parts of your brain are interacting to a situation, where it's like the logical part of your brain is talking to the part of your brain that just wants to punch this guy, and it's the part of your brain is just going, take your fist and plant it in his head, and your brain's going, whoa, you need to chill out. That is a lot of, there's a lot of humor in that writing, but it is dealing with incredibly serious topics, but it can deal with it in such a deft way that it knows exactly how to write it, when to write it, and it's never boring. There is never anything that I've been like, come on, like this is not. The only time that I ever skipped through a lot of dialogue was when I was listening to Measurehead. Yeah. Because that guy is a like nationalist. Yep. And I took that personally as the character doing the thing I would do in that situation of just going, come on. Yeah. When you're talking about like, oh, you shouldn't mix races and all that stuff, was whatever. So weirdly enough, I did the same thing for Meathead and Measurehead, but that was because my game either broke or I locked myself out that path completely. Because there appears to be a thing in that game where, so the way you kind of talk your way around that situation appears to be like, you listen to him do his white supremacy speech. Yeah. you internalize it as a thought cabinet.
Well, it's not white supremacy because he's black.
Sorry,
it's just nationalism.
Supremacy.
Yeah, race supremacy.
Thing. He
calls it advanced racial theory. That's what he calls it.
You put it in you do your thought cabinet stuff. You mull it over for a day, and then go back and take his argument apart.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
So I initially went, because basically that comes from an option where you go, okay, let's listen to what you have to say, and then you do it. I said, fuck you, and never got that option again.
Ah, okay.
So you basically get one shot to go like, okay, give me your spiel.
Well, there is another way of doing it.
So that's the thing. There's but the problem is, like, not to completely divert it, but like, I don't have a lot of options left on how the fuck to get past that, because I can't take his race theories thing.
Yeah.
I can't do the acrobatics check to get your jacket.
Yeah.
I can't do that because I don't have the skill to do that.
You could do it.
No, like, the check is failing until I get better skill.
Right, sure, right.
But
You've
also,
white-locked
it doesn't feel like I need to do it right away. Like, it feels like you don't come back to.
Yeah, you can
which
totally
is the
go back
point.
to it.
Which is the part of that game I was missing. Was like, you don't need to. This is not like
your
your immediate objective.
Especially on the first like 2 days or stuff like that.
Yeah,
there are only like 2 things that you have to do quickly. Yeah. Everything else is like, you deal with.
That was the thing. Like, I felt like I'd blocked off everything where like this was my main line.
Yeah.
But actually, no, I just missed something.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, once I solve that, that opens up all this other stuff that I can then do. So yeah, I'll come back to that. But yeah, so like, so I was cycling through that dialogue, trying every possible tree to figure out how the fuck to get this.
Yeah.
So I listened to a lot of that guy's speech.
Oh, yeah.
Just going, one, 2, 1, 3, and it was just like, yeah.
But every other thing, like, I sat and read and listened to, and there is so much amazing writing in that thing.
There
of
really
like
is.
Brilliant characters.
Even
amazing situations,
even
like,
the dumb stuff, well, dumb, but like, it plays into that thing of like the fact that it's not just like, it wasn't just the thoughts in your head that are talking to you. Like, your tie talks to you, because your tie talks to you in a way that's like, this is what this tie represents to you as a person.
Yeah.
To then pipe up and go like, you don't need any of this shit, you should just dance. And you're like, okay, sure, right.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing of like, there's a point in the game later on where you are helping a bunch of ravers start a nightclub.
Nice.
In a dilapidated church. This is after you've discovered they're actually just trying to make drugs, and you're like, can't fucking do that, but I'll let you help you with the nightclub.
Right.
And you help them in the nightclub, and they're like, oh, like, thanks for doing everything, we need a name. And everybody has like really shit names, and like, what do you think names should be? And your brain like takes over for a bit, and it's like your intellect, I can't remember, is like, you don't fucking name nightclubs. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And your brain, your body is just like, oh, you should name it something like the girder or something like big and
machismo,
tough and machismo. Yeah. And then like, I think it was either your tie or it was like your jacket or something, which is like, the tie is the thing that I kept on all the time.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the remnants of your past, like
totally.
Your old disco days. And your tie or something talked to you and was just like, nah, this should be like a thing from the old days when everything was good, man. You should call this club Disco Elysium. And you're like, yeah, that's a great idea. Fucking, you should call the club Disco Elysium. And you're like, and like, when at first I was like, oh, that's a cool reference, it's the name of the game. But I was like, no, it's like actually like reflective of what this whole thing is, because the whole like world it's set in is called Elysium.
Elysium, yeah.
Yeah. But and then disco is like an era of that time.
Yeah, and it represents the old you.
It's the old, it's like back
that.
when you were you, so it's like calling this club Disco Elysium is like, let's bring it back to the old days and all that stuff. And everybody goes, yeah, that's a cool idea, Matt. So you get to name this club and stuff like that. It's a great little moment, and this game is filled with like tiny little like character moments or story moments or world building moments, and they're everywhere. And I'm
really enjoying watching Kim's reaction to you.
Kim is great. Kim is the best foil to a main character I've ever seen. One of the best I've ever seen.
Especially because
especially for my character, who I was like playing as someone who realizes what a piece of shit he is,
right?
But is trying to make amends,
right?
Towards the end of that game, Kim was really on your side and was kind of like, I know you're trying, we just need to keep doing this. At the start of the game, he's like, you're terrible, what the fuck? But he saw that you're trying, so the entire character flipped and became like a really supportive. But when you get down to police work, he is very methodical of like, let's do the form, let's do this, and
it's good as well when you do the thing where like, because I managed to get enough visual calculus or whatever particular skill it was to catch something that Kim had missed.
Yeah.
And you can be like, oh, but that then relates to this, and he goes, that's a really good point. There was a moment where I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
every time you get one over on Kim,
I can do it. Well, not getting one over on him, just being like, yeah, I'm copping the shit out of this, you know. I'm detectivizing.
That game, it ended with because every like action has like a thing. It's one of the things about the narrative that I really, really liked, where it reflects back on you on your choices. Yes. Where there were a couple of moments that I really started to terrify myself, because there was like a conversation with someone, I can't remember what it was. That was basically, it ended with me basically saying like, you just need to let the cops handle this. Like, we'll take care of it. It's fine. Like, let people in higher positions deal with this situation for you. Came out of it, and the logical part of my brain came in and went, hey, you really sound like a fascist when you talk like that. I was like, what the fuck do you mean talking like that? It's like, well, you're saying that like people in power should probably stay in power and all that stuff. I went, fuck, I kind of did sound like a fuck, that's really bad. And it sort of reflected back, but then the one that reflected back was it's oh god, I'm trying to think about how to word this. When you're dealing with Kim, and you get when you start further you get into the game, you start realizing what kind of cop you are.
Yeah.
And it can be like superstar cop or whatever. And you have a conversation with Kim outside of a building where the entire quest was like, paint something on the side of this wall, because your brain took over and was like, this wall's bare, it needs something something expressive. And you go through a whole bunch of rigmarole to try and do it, and you paint something on the wall, and then you have a big conversation with Kim about art, and then your brain twigs, and there's like something appears in your thought cabinet that says art degree. And you're like, you read the thing, and it's like, based on like your choice, like your opinions of the world and your opinion on art and stuff like that, you might have done like an art degree at some point. Go through the thought process, thought cabinet opens up and it goes, yeah, you totally have an art degree. Like, you did your art degree in university, and then you wanted to help people, so you went and became a cop and stuff. And it ended that game with you being called an art cop, where you were super good at being a cop, but you were also really like expressive, and you fought for the people that were trying to express themselves. I went, yeah, that's kind of, I'm alright with that. That was pretty good.
Okay.
So yeah, even all the little story details and stuff all feed into your character and reflect back. It's such a well handled narrative that
Good. So this looks to me like Disco Elysium.
Yep.
It looks like Troll.
Yep.
I think it's, for me, it's genuinely Clue, like, as a third. Like, because the other Kingdom Hearts 3 is still a joke.
Oh, right? No, that's a joke. Yeah, cool. That's not going anywhere. Yeah,
Outer Wilds is good, but like, it's not. It's the other things about that game is why I think it's really special. Not necessarily the narrative. It's more like,
well, the narrative is cool.
The narrative is cool, and they've created this cool world, but other stuff I think takes priority in that for me. I think the narrative is kind of there, and how you get it is interesting, but the narrative itself is okay, sure. And again, the fact that the amount of time I put into that game, I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing the thing I know I need to do.
Yeah.
Like, I know enough to be able to get it, but like, I can't quite put it all together. Yeah, I think it's Disco Elysium, Control, and Giant Clue, and I assume it's Disco Elysium because that sounds like that game's entire thing.
That is kind of what that game is.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah. I get that there is for years now, anybody that has asked, that has said, like, talks about games writing and stuff like that, I will say that there hasn't been a better game that's been written since like 1999, because it was Planescape Torment. There was no better game than that. And then Disco Elysium happened, and I was like, fuck, that thing's really good. Like, it's super solid. I still think I prefer Planescape because it deals with a lot of subject matters that are a lot more personal to me anyway. But I saw what they were doing, and it just is. It's unbelievable. Like, it's not written any other game. What?
I just realized I didn't put Eliza on this list.
For narrative?
Yeah.
Is it going to beat any of them? You think it's going to beat?
I think it's going to beat Jenny Clue.
Okay, talk about the. Is Eliza's the one that's like the therapy thing?
Yeah, so Eliza's the game from Zachtronics, who do fucking Exapunks and
they do your
Shins and IO. They do like logic programming puzzle games.
They do your programming games.
And then this year they came out, hey, we've got announced a new game. It's a visual novel.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? Like, oh, but there'll be programming, right? And they're like, no, it's just a visual novel.
There'll be programming.
But the whole point of it is, so the whole point of it is, let me just get my notes because I wrote notes about this game. The whole point about this game is that, so you play as, talked about it briefly in the podcast, but you play as Eliza. Oh no, sorry, you don't play as Eliza. I can't remember the main character's name because it's been a while. But Eliza is this AI system that's been developed by a corporation to do therapy and counseling to people. And the way it works is because they very quickly realize that you can't just put someone in front of a screen or like a CG face and be like, I will help you with all your problems. Like they need physical, like they need a human being.
Yeah.
The way the system works is that you wear a headset which delivers lines of dialogue on the screen that you then deliver to the patient. The Eliza then listens to the response and generates the next line of dialogue for you to say.
Right.
So all you're doing is you're a literal like physical avatar for this AI that's there, and that's your job.
You're the meat space for this.
Yeah, and like without going the whole way down the track, like you worked on Eliza as a developer.
Yeah.
When had a like just lost all faith in a lot of your chosen field and Eliza and the world in general, and fucking left and was like, I can't deal with this anymore.
Yeah. And
is now coming back to like try and reevaluate what it was, what she's done, like this thing that she's created by coming in as a avatar. There's a name for the people who come in, and you become a proxy for Eliza. So you do like first person counseling sessions with like there are 7 or 8 people who come in, and the whole visual novel part of it is like you not only doing these counseling sessions, but it's also like you talking to different people about Eliza and about the world and all this kind of stuff. Like your friend who you worked, who was also a developer on this thing, like she was like, fuck all this, like we're not contributing to the world, we're not doing anything that's good for anyone, and fucking left and became an electronic musician. Like she's one of these people that like everyone knows the person who's like they can just do something and they're brilliant at it.
Sure. Yeah.
So she just left that and went, I'm gonna try music, and is suddenly excellent at music and is like building synths herself and all this kind of stuff, and she's doing shows and all this kind of stuff. Like she's your good friend, whereas you're much more in the line of like I have no idea what I need to do with myself. So there's the narrative part of it as well, and about tech and about like the tech industry and about like data collection and privacy and what that means, like what you do with an AI that is listening to all these people's like real issues, like what you do with that data, how people are using that data, like the stuff you get from that. But on top of that, it's this superbly written bit of like quarter life crisis. Oh shit, I'm in my early 30s. I am completely disillusioned with most parts of the way the world's been constructed at this point. Also, I've lost complete faith in like I'm really worried about my chosen field, like all the things I can be like, like tech's weird as a person in your early 30s who works in the industry, like it's all tech's kinds of fucked up, right? And you have these thoughts and fears and all this kind of stuff. And it was obviously written by people about like our age, or like were very recently our age, and it just tells this brilliant story of this woman coming to terms with like who she is, what she wants to be, dealing with like what is obviously like a history of depression, dealing with like how she interacts with other people, how she interacts with like the people that she's left behind in this industry and all this. It's just a beautifully written bit of thing. Yeah. Like not only is it great and like supremely relevant, and also supremely relevant to me, like it's from Zachtronics, like it's from the guys who do the programming games.
Yeah, and but Exapunks had kind of a cool story.
So I remember when I talked about Exapunks last year, like no, they're doing cool stuff with narrative. Like it was very kind of rote's a bit harsh, but it was relatively like genre fiction cyberpunky, where you're like it's about
human implantation.
It's about corporate greed. It's about all that kind of stuff. Like they were starting to really branch into this. So for them to just suddenly go like, we're going to take this and do with it. And also it's like 2021, like it's like near future. Like here's the thing.
It's super personal and
it's absolutely incredible. Like it's
when you talked about it and talking about it here, that's
cool
that's
story, actually up there more. I'm so glad I caught that before. I was just thinking about my own list and I was like, and I was just thinking like, oh yeah, that is totally going to be in there.
No, that I would be fine with that. That totally hangs.
Cool. Okay, so our top 3 is Disco Elysium winning with Control and Eliza as runners-up.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, next up is one of my personal favorites, is Best Original Track. So this is a piece of music originally written for the game.
Yes.
That we enjoyed. So we have the main theme from Apex Legends.
So we should also clarify, like, it is nothing licensed. This is a original piece of music written specifically for a game.
Yeah.
It can be, like, obviously, like in case of Disco Elysium, like it's done by a real band. But
it can be one of the real band songs.
But it's it's on the soundtrack for this game.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
So we have the main theme from Apex Legends, Devil Trigger from Devil May Cry 5, Parallel Universes from Sayonara Wild Hearts, Wild Hearts Never Die from Sayonara Wild Hearts, the battle theme from Pokemon, the Battle Tower theme from Pokemon, and the Gym Leader battle theme from Pokemon, the Toy Box World theme from Kingdom Hearts 3, Outer Wilds from the Outer Wilds, Whirling Cafeteria from Disco Elysium, and Colder Than the Rest from Hypnospace Outlaw.
Yeah.
The main theme from Apex Legends is really good.
Like, I was legitimately surprised how many times I actually played that just fucking walking around. Like, I would just play it on my phone every now.
It's the kind of like almost intrusive like industrial bass and drum that then gets overlaid with that 4-note thing that signifies that it's Apex Legends that you hear like when you're dropping and stuff. Totally. And then it only got better when the character themes came into it.
Yeah.
Because like we listened to the Christmas one and that was all just like overdriven guitars, but then it still had those 4 notes in it.
Like the fact it's got this thematic melody that goes through it.
Yeah. But then
motif is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. But then you get into like when you listen to Watson's version, which is all has like violins in it, or the Pathfinder version, which is all just like steel drum.
Are they hidden behind like
Battle Pass?
Yeah, or the Battle Pass.
Battle Pass levels, right, okay. They all have their own individual instrumentation that have variances on it, but then they all still have that motif in it that let you know that you're still playing Apex.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Like the fact that 3 notes is so signifier of a game is pretty impressive.
4 notes. Yeah, 4 notes.
4 notes. Yeah, okay, 4 notes. Devil Trigger is just wild.
Oh,
like,
it's hot garbage.
It's hot garbage. We've
so
talked about it
though,
already.
Yeah.
Like, it's like complete like 90s video game like Google translated lyrics.
Yeah. And
talks about game mechanics and the lyrics.
Massive, like overproduced, like
with a little bit of like screamo underneath it as well, and you're just like,
it's just brilliant. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Which is why I love it.
But it's great.
The 2 Sayonara Wild Hearts tracks, Parallel Universes are on here because it was my favourite level, but actually I think Wild Hearts Never Die
on that soundtrack, which is filled with really good tunes. Wild Hearts,
that one stood out as like, this is a tune.
Yeah,
like,
it's a real tune.
Real good.
It's just like even in a level it works.
Yes.
But then
no,
or does it? I don't actually
in the
know.
game sorry, to be clear, in the game, so once I'd finished that game and started listening to the soundtrack again, I really liked that track. The only way you can get that track in game is it has to do the intro bit,
right?
Which is an actual level.
Oh, okay.
Is the most difficult part of that game, and is not fun.
Oh, okay.
So you have to do that, and then Wild Hearts kicks in, which is fucking awesome. That bit, but the intro bit that you can't skip, is terrible. To get there,
sure.
But like but that's not like this track specifically.
That's
brilliant.
Is a great,
really good.
Is a great electronic pop song.
Yeah,
it's great.
The 3 battle themes.
So the 3 battle themes. The main battle theme is mainly on there because you hear it so much, and it got stuck in my head so much.
Yeah,
because the main melody of it has such like weird like fast runs and stuff in it that just get stuck in my head really easily. Yep. It's a good song as well, but it pales in comparison to the Battle Tower theme, which has the might of Toby Fox behind it, playing
of Undertale fame,
of Undertale and Deltarune and all the great soundtracks from the last like 2-3 years, playing every instrument all at once as he's known to do.
Yeah,
with as many notes as he can all at once, but it works so well.
He's the equivalent of like a synth playing Dragon Force. He just hits every note.
He's that thing, I can never remember. He's like oh god, a fucking nerdy reference. He's like Max Rebo. He's the thing in the cantina with the big piano all around him, and he's just like...
complete side... Lady Gaga's keyboardist has one of them.
Yeah.
And plays it on stage, like completely circular.
Yeah, and just goes around it.
Yeah.
That's what he does, but every octave of the keyboard is tuned to a different instrument, and he just like goes...
he's just hitting them all at once.
But it again, that's kind of a lot like the Deliberations soundtrack and the Undertale soundtrack, where it's a lot of weird, difficult instrumentation all put together that works really well as a thing.
Yep.
So the Battle Tower theme just is super hype at all times, and it
sounds like it's come off some Dreamcast game that never existed.
Yeah,
it's
great.
It's really good at that.
And then the Gym Leader battle theme, is my personal favorite.
I had heard this until you played it, and the fact that it has crowd chants.
Yeah, so it's like it's this like weird EDM song that has like build-ups and breakdowns and drops and it builds really well on like it sets up its its motifs and its themes and then builds on it, and in the third come around the crowd get involved, because this is where like when you're having your gym battles and it's in a big football stadium, so the crowd start coming in with their crowd chants, and they've got like 3 different crowd chants that break down at different parts of the song.
It's incredible how close Nintendo got to just like making canon the Glaswegian gig "Here We Fucking Go" chant.
Yeah, it was just there.
It's so close,
but it's great, and it really adds to that battle, because it's like you can tell that the whole stadium's getting hyped up. And it's brilliant.
It's really good.
The Toy Box theme from Kingdom Hearts is... I just wanted to put it in because...
This is just You Got a Friend in Me.
It is, but it's without the singing. Instead, they replaced Randy Newman with like marimbas and a whole bunch of like weird, nice instruments.
Not a terrible idea in general.
Just replace Randy Newman with marimbas. But it's a nice tune.
Totally.
It's just nice. Outer Wilds from the Outer Wilds.
So this is the main menu theme.
The main menu theme is a space theme.
This is the main menu theme. Traveler's theme is the space one.
We need to add that in then.
Oh, is that also there as well? Okay.
Well, because the thing... Oh, God. Because we listened to this and I'm confused now. Because the thing that you played that I said yes to was the Outer Wilds. And then you said, yes, this is the thing that plays in space.
No. So the track called Outer Wilds is the main menu theme.
Right, okay.
But, I mean, to be fair, the Traveler's theme, which is the... I'm just going to very quickly check that that's the right name. But it is like a kind of muted off version of kind of similar song.
Sure.
So like,
is that the one with the slightly more? It has the electronic stuff in it, like towards the end. Or it just gets all weird and spacey at the end.
Let me just check. So that's the main menu theme.
Yeah.
That's Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
And then on the official soundtrack this is called Space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the same melody.
But done in the...
But it's got the... Yeah, and it's got...
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we combine them into one thing, considering it's like the same song?
They're just different enough.
Sure.
Because Outer Wilds, because the main menu track goes places.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it was really big and triumphant.
It gets huge, so...
Okay, sure.
And then it's just called Space is the other one.
So yeah, the Outer Wilds from the Outer Wilds. Main menu theme. Again, it was the kind of thing I talked about before, where it is the it starts off as this like kind of really folky heart.
Yeah.
It's got that banjo and that acoustic guitar.
And
then gets like way bigger towards the end.
Speaking of that, Timber Hearth, which is the theme for the planet you're on, start on.
That is really good.
Which is also really good.
That is just really folky though.
Which is the whole point. Like the Timber Hearth is like this real folksy, like everything's built out of wood, cabins and all that kind of stuff. Like that is that track.
That's a really nice track.
Sorry about in Space. Whirling Cafeteria is the song that plays in the cafeteria.
In your whirling rags in the hotel you stay in. That it's a really good like grounding theme, because it's the sort of like you always go back to that hotel at the end of every day.
Yeah.
And it's light, and it is the sort of thing that sort of like a kind of rundown hotel in that sort of area would play, where it is like very inoffensive,
totally
light, not much singing.
Yep.
But it's consistent throughout the game, so you always hear it, and it's just this kind of like, oh, I'm home. Okay, it's this kind of like nice,
it anchors
safe
you
place.
In that place. Yeah, for sure. And then Colder Than the Rest from Hypnospace Outlaw.
Man, my boy Freezer.
Freezer.
Yeah. He was bringing the jams when I was playing Hypnospace Outlaw. I liked him a lot.
The jams, yeah.
Every time I was exploring the space and I would see Freezer, be like, you've got new shit for me.
Downloading those MP3s.
Download those MP3s and listen to that Freezer.
Fake media player.
It's just this amazing conglomerate, like combining of shitty digitized voices and MIDI.
Yep.
That I was like, yeah, it's the good shit.
In its own genre that they made up. Freeze Core? No. What's the name of it?
Frozen Core or something like that?
Core.
I can't remember what it is. But
Core, I can't remember.
But it is like it again, it is like the rest of that soundtrack. It is very evocative of that.
Totally.
You're back in the 90s. You're like, man, that was the shit. Remember when everything was
I
MIDI?
feel like I should have downloaded it from LimeWire.
Yeah, or Napster or something.
Or something.
Like everything was MIDI, and
When I got it and enjoyed it, but it was actually named like Eminem _ Lose Yourself 4,
whatever it was.
MP3, you know. Yeah. Okay, so on this list, I feel very strongly about Wild Hearts.
Yeah, I'm with you. That song's class.
Yeah,
as a tune.
Also the theme song, the main menu theme for Outer Wilds.
Yes, I'm also with you. That is
my third. I'm kind of open to suggestions about what you feel particularly strongly about.
So for me, yeah.
Like, do we just go fuck it and put Devil Trigger on?
So
this
is
list?
the thing for me. If you want to do the, it's so garbage that it's great.
Because it so encapsulates so much of the fucking nonsense of that game that they get away with.
Yeah, to me, it's either that or I actually really like the gym leader battle.
Yeah,
from Pokemon.
I like what the gym leader battle represents because like this is them doing the research on Britain, and going like, well, they'll be like,
everyone's a football hooligan.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, there'll be some happy hardcore, but also there's gotta be some football chants.
Yeah, you've got to have football chants.
It
all ties back as well. It's still one of my favorite things about Pokemon is that the minor bad guys, like the Team Rocket equivalent, are literally just football hooligans.
Yeah,
they're just
really nice
with spiky
ones.
hair with vuvuzelas, and they just get in your way and are shitheads.
I love that it's still vuvuzelas. Vuvuzelas haven't been a thing since like 2008.
It's just like vuvuzelas, and they have signs, and they just get in your way, and they're really annoying. They're not very good or like anything. They just are annoying. But they're only annoying to Pokemon trainers, like the people of the world. They're really nice to.
I was hoping at some point there would be some kind of subplot where somebody in one of the gym leader battles in this football stadium like pings a penny off Mr. Mime's head, like really like goes for it,
throws an orange,
just throws like something really dangerous.
That'd be great. Throws an empty can,
lets off a flare or something.
Oh man, that would have been great. But
I could go for the gym leader battle. I like what that represents, but I also really like what Devil Trigger represents, in that I hate what it represents. I'm kind of leaving this one with you because I've kind of got what I want out of this.
Man, that's a hard choice.
Right?
Because it's either I go for the one that I actually think is really good and really well crafted, or the one that's actually garbage. I hate it, but I really do love it at the same time.
Devil May Cry 5...
Because they put Devil Trigger at different points in the game as well.
Yeah.
In different remixes.
Really?
Yeah, that like either it like takes out the vocals and just puts more instruments in.
Nice.
Or it's like just the vocals but played really far away.
So what that track needs is more instruments.
Oh, it's great. Like see if that thing didn't already have like a massively overdriven guitar. Yeah. Imagine it getting played with 3. It's oh yeah, put that on the list.
Yeah, I think that's
great.
Yeah. Okay. So, Wild Hearts, Outer Wilds, and Devil Trigger.
Yeah.
What are you feeling for
I really like that Outer Wilds track.
Yeah, me too.
It's really
like
it is. Yeah. As good as an electronic pop song as that Sayonara Wild Hearts thing is. The Outer Wilds track is both a very good song on its own, but it is also very. It links into what that game is, where it is this like folky rooted thing going out into something bigger.
Totally.
And whether it is the main menu version of that, where it's all grand with like big instrumentation and like orchestra style, or the space version where starts off very folky and then gets very quiet.
It's good
and
as well
delicate.
because it's the whole point of the start of that game, which I've mentioned already, is like your kind of one anchoring point out into space is like you can hear the songs of the 4 explorers that have gone over your crackly radio that you have to then on and go.
Sure.
So like it's playing like the opening and then it kind of crackles off into like space.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Outer Wilds from the Outer Wilds.
Yep.
I need to stop saying it's just called Outer Wilds, not
Is it not the Outer Wilds?
Nope.
Okay.
It's just Outer Wilds. Is the winner.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that Sayonara song is really.
It's a really good song.
It's
like it's a really good. It's a really. If you could release that as a single, it
that
would be
was like
good.
I looped that track for a solid day. Like it's not huge. You see, like a minute, 2.5 minutes or something.
Yeah,
like
it's not very long. Yeah,
it's very good.
I've listened to Devil Trigger more times than I care.
Me too. I had to edit the podcast where we used it as intermission music.
Yeah.
And it now lives in my hard drive, and that's a dangerous fucking place for it to be. Because I did just I should listen to all 7 minutes of this to try and pick out which bit I should cut into the podcast.
There are too many bits.
Right?
Yeah.